one show at late night, nothing but illustrious guests. Mero, who's in the building with us today?
Oh, the hardest worker man in Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. Jon Bernthal. You might have seen him in Wolf of Wall Street, Sicario, you know what I'm saying? Walking Dead, you know what I mean? He's in a limited series right now. I just farted on camera, goddammit.
Dog, you
heard that.
I
heard that.
Hey, you own that shit.
I was like, was that the table?
And look, we're gonna wait for it to kick in, but I just think, you know,
I'm a
That sets the tone for the interview.
Yeah, it's like, hey man, we're comfortable with each other.
You're not restarting.
Hey,
Keep going. That's what it is.
It's like dogs. He smell each other. He just wanted me to get
He wants you to get
accustomed
comfortable.
Hey, dude, I feel welcome as a motherfucker.
You ever farted on camera?
Farted on camera. No, I don't fart on camera, but sometimes, like right before I go on, like if I'm with a close friend, like, you know, a PA who's about to send me on, sometimes like my girl Lauren, she'll rip one on me, I'll rip one on her, and then I'm like, all right, let's go do this.
Crop dusting each other?
A big
little
action
crop
scene,
dusting?
you know what I mean? A big action scene. It's necessary.
I try to get him out before the interview. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes he
man.
come out a little gassy. That's
God bless you, bro. Well, I always say if you can fart on camera or yawn on camera or blush on camera, that's some shit you can't fake. You know what I mean?
Is that like the rules of acting? Is that how you
I don't know
you're
about the rules of
acting?
act, but look, man, I did study in Russia, and they did say that. They said if you can blush on stage, if you can blush or if you can yawn, that's shit that's very hard to fake. And me, it's like a real, you know, human reaction, so yeah, anytime I can bust a yawn out, I go for it.
What was it like studying in Russia?
Oh man, it was.
You know, like now everyone has these views of Russia, everything going on in Ukraine, but you were there.
was.
You actually know the people there. Are we getting a misconception of the actual Russian people?
Well, look, I mean, it's a loaded question, right? It's a huge country with all kinds of people in it. And so,
Right.
you know, any kind of people, to try to say, are they this way or are they that way? Because the folks that I kind of came up with in Moscow, I was there for 2 years, you know, they had all, for the most part, grown up in communism.
Right.
So, you know, it was this new sort of wild energy to everything, but there was an enormous amount of hope. Like I said, it was a brutal place, but it was a beautiful place, a national appreciation for the arts unlike anything we have here. It was also just ridiculously fucking disciplined, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, if you weren't good, they told you weren't good and you were out. Whereas in America, you got all these people trying to do this. You're gonna be famous, everything's gonna work out for you, even though they know it's probably not gonna happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I felt like there's a lot of humanity to that kind of honesty and to that sort of like brutal, you know.
bluntness.
Exactly.
Right.
To the point, like, yo, let's say for you, homie. Try plumbing.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right. Which is like, you know what, you're gonna waste 10 years of your life. Like they just tell you it wasn't gonna happen, you know.
Right.
And I took to that.
What's it like being the hardest working man in TV? Because I know a lot of people watching this right now. Oh, that's that guy from this. That's the guy from that.
I know that
They'll
ugly
point
face.
at the TV like, yeah, that's my guy.
homie.
That's my guy.
That's homie.
Honestly, I don't want to sound, trite or political about it, but I'm blessed, man.
Right.
I'm blessed. I'm enormously grateful. I feed my kids and put food on the table doing something that I love. And I remember as a young cat, you know, going to the doctor's office, they had this Babe Ruth book, this Babe Ruth cartoon book. And there was this picture of Babe Ruth, and he was all fat, and he was leaning up on Yankee Stadium, and
Right.
this kid goes, yo, Babe, how's it feel to be you? And Babe's like eating a hot dog, leaning on his bat. He's like, man, I get paid to hit baseballs and eat hot dogs for a living. Like, what could be better?
Right.
I really love what I do, so to be able to do it in this capacity, I just, it's a real blessing.
Do your kids trip out if they see you like on TV or like doing like?
Man, they
press
just
or
make fun of me. You know, they
Yeah.
make
They
fun of
roast
how
you?
big my nose
Okay,
is.
all right, good,
Pull on
good,
my
good, good.
mustache.
I'm not the
They
only
make
one.
fun of me. Oh yeah. My kids, like, they just. It's,
don't care.
You're not impressed.
Not impressed. If I'm taking selfies on the street, you know, one of them will smack me in the balls, the other one will.
Because
you
you've
know,
always been on TV their whole life.
their whole life. And,
Right.
you know, it was a lot the Punisher. So it was always like, you know, my youngest son, it was always like he called me Punisher and all that, you know, and I thought that would maybe, you know, carry some weight at bedtime and shit. Like,
Yo, the Punisher's time to go to
your ass to
bed.
go to bed. You know, they're like,
Take the melatonin.
yeah, it didn't work though, man.
Now, me and you have beef because.
Okay, why? I want no beef with you, man. What happened?
Why you did Rick like that, man? Come on,
You
come on, Shane.
You gotta smoke him. You gotta
Come
smoke
on.
him. Man.
Listen,
You gotta
I've
smoke
been
him.
waiting years for this.
You gotta smoke. You had to
What
smoke.
What
did
did
he
he
do
do?
for
Like,
this?
what did he honestly
Why
do
were you
wrong,
going after
dog?
Lori like that?
Come on, man.
Come on. For
Did he
those
save
of
her
you
life?
who don't know, Walking Dead.
Yeah.
This guy was
Cultural phenomenon.
probably one of the worst characters
So
on
crazy,
there,
man.
because he was one of the best characters.
I appreciate you, man.
No, like,
You know,
what
man,
was that? What was that like? Because that show, and when you were on it, because it was just you know, the opening seasons and everything, and like just the emotional impact of your character.
Yeah.
Like you had people like hating your character, but at the same time conflicted, and it was like a lot to watch.
Kind of like me.
Yeah,
And also, it's real zombies, bro.
Yeah, also
CGI
zombies,
shit.
right.
Nah, man,
Like,
yeah,
it's real people
motherfuckers
like,
in the woods with makeup. Like, goddamn, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know, look, I have so much gratitude for that opportunity. I think it's so rare that you get to play a character, especially on TV, that has a beginning, middle, and end, and you know what that beginning, middle, and end is before you start.
Right.
Like, I got that job. I really wanted to play Shane. I remember once I got it, you know, speaking about farting and all that, I sat down with the comic book. You know, on the toilet. You know what I mean? As one would do. By the end of that time on the toilet, my man was already dead. I was like, this is like the role of a lifetime. It's gonna be so short.
Right.
But I knew that within the course of that series, he was gonna start out as this dude's best friend, and you would see that. Then he was gonna fall in love with his wife. Then he was gonna get extraordinarily jealous, and then he was gonna try to kill the man. Like,
Right.
that's great
That's an
buoys
arc.
along the wall. Yeah. I mean, on AMC at that time, they had Mad Men and Breaking Bad. Nobody wanted to see a show about some zombies.
Right.
We were like the bastard stepchild. I remember being at the
batting
award show.
ninth.
Yeah, I mean,
Walking Dead.
and that's what I like being in that position. We would
Right.
go to the award shows, and it was like the Mad Men, Breaking Bad, and they'd be like, "Look at these clowns," you know. And then, you know, we kind of came out, and it hit. It really hit. And you know, for me, it was like, wow, I'm finally on a show that really hits, and then they're gonna kill my ass off of it. You know, I was like, just my luck. But not only am I so grateful for that opportunity and the friendships I made and being part of that Atlanta crew, which is family to me.
Right.
I'm really also grateful for getting killed off when I did, because you know, like I'm everything that happened, I feel like in my career after that was really because of that, and because that part was so dynamic and they wrote it that way. And Frank Darabont, you know, created the part in that way. That he was sort of a villain, but he was also you could
relate to him.
You could relate to him, exactly.
So speaking of like stopping doing stuff, you said you played baseball.
Yes, sir.
And you stopped because
I mean, look, really because I found this.
You look like a baseball player.
Do I?
you got big. You look like
You got big baseball player energy.
Bro, like,
Do I?
like
You
I'm
look
not
like
gonna
a
lie,
Boston
like,
Red Sox
like-
player I would not like.
Like Bryce Harper's Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper biopic right here.
Oh, yeah,
Jon Bernthal
yeah,
starring.
let's
You know
go.
what I mean?
You look like you would do something to the Yankees that
Ooh.
break
Oh,
our
yeah.
hearts.
I tell you what.
Like, oh, here comes Jon Bernthal. Yankee
Here we
killer.
go.
Damn,
Ah.
Trust me, you wouldn't have to worry about
Remember what
shit,
he
man.
did in 04?
No, man. I mean, look, I was a catcher my whole life. You know, played through college, played some pro ball overseas. Like, you know, man, definitely not good enough to go further. And I think baseball is one of those sports. I say I got a kid who's pretty serious about it right now. And, you know, baseball is one of those sports where the drop off is really clear. You know, you can see that in high school, you know, you're batting cleanup, you're crushing it, you're confident, you're one of the best players in the league. And then you go up to college, and all of a sudden you can't hit that curveball. All of a sudden they're doing, and what it takes, I think, is this unbelievable dedication of working and practicing and constantly keeping your skills sharp. And honestly, if anything else comes in your life and is a distraction,
Right.
and for me, when I found acting, it was just a no-brainer. I felt like this was really what I was supposed to be doing. And for a while, I was like, you know, playing baseball and acting, and like the guys on my team would come to my shows, and then I started missing practices for shows, and it just really wasn't gonna work out. And honestly, I wasn't good enough to go much further than I did. And
Come on, man. You could have been in Japan crushing it.
I don't
you
know,
what I'm saying?
man. I don't know.
Does that count?
Yeah, does it count? I don't know, man.
You better ask Mike Francesa. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So you got the new show.
Oh, we own the city.
We own the city.
Yeah. Y'all can't fuck with that because it's HBO, huh?
No, it's HBO.
It's
HBO,
all
ABC.
good. It's the Crip Blood Truce.
Okay,
For a premium cable.
I like that. Okay, cool.
Sell the show to us right now.
Ooh, man.
I'm hearing good things. My staff loves it.
Look,
Corruption.
Anything that has to do
Yeah.
with police corruption, I'm like, I'm in.
Look, I
So we're from the Bronx. We know a lot about police corruption.
okay. I mean, look, I think the way that I would sell the show is by the same creators of The Wire, and I think what The Wire achieved in this country.
You could have stopped right there.
know what I'm saying?
For real. Yeah.
Every white person in the living room was like,
Straight.
I'm in.
My
Let's
ticket
go.
into street
Let's
life.
go.
Yeah,
Sign me-
totally.
Sign me up.
say less.
But I think, you know, with that, you know, with those guys, David Simon, George Pelecanos, and their sort of journalistic integrity, and they have been committed to the city of Baltimore now for decades. Baltimore Sun reporter, you know, George has lived his entire life there, written 20 novels about D.C. and Baltimore.
Yeah.
It's as authentic a look into police corruption and police procedure and the culture of policing as anything that's out there. We shot it with the city of Baltimore, for the city of Baltimore, and by the city of Baltimore. We shot it in the real locations with the real folks. When we we did it with sensitivity, and I think reverence for the victims, as really dealing with how kind of Freddie Gray and the reaction to it and the uprising sort of influenced police and police procedure, and how corruption could have grown out of it. And I really think it's a strong series, and I think people should watch it.
Watch that shit. You know
Watch
what I'm saying?
that
Because it
shit.
exposes corruption. You know what I'm saying?
Did I?
You sold it.
You definitely sold it because we graduated from Stop and Frisk University.
Oh yeah.
I hear you, man.
So,
You know, listen, when the police touch your balls, it changes things.
You got anything sharp? It's just
thing.
no. That's just my penis, officer.
Straight up.
So you got the podcast, Real Ones.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And you're using it to give people a chance to use their authentic voice to talk about what they want to talk about.
Look, I think just, man, just being unbelievably frustrated with the state of discourse in the country. You know, right now, somehow, being patriotic or being tough means choosing a side and sticking to it. And a lot of the information that we're getting about these issues that kind of define our times, it's just done from one pole or the other. Motherfuckers just waving their flag saying it's my way or the highway. And I can't think of anything less American. I think the model of being strong and the model of being patriotic is being compromising, is being willing, able, and hungry to sit down with people who think differently than you and hear their point of view and be willing to change, be willing to learn, being confident enough with how you feel to say, hey, maybe I'll learn something from you, and that we all want what's best for our families. And really what this show is I sit down with soldiers, police officers, doctors, surgeons, lawyers, folks that have spent over 20 years in prison, a guy who just got out of Supermax in prison, he was locked up with Larry Hoover, gang members, folks who have really walked the walk. They don't just talk about it, and it's giving whatever platform I have to hear their perspective. And what I find with these folks who have real experience in those issues, what I find is they have an openness. They don't judge. They find empathy in people that might be on the other side of them. And I think that if those folks can do that, we all can do it. And it's not my opinions on these issues. Nobody wants to hear my opinions, but what I can
give a
vouch
voice
for,
to other people.
That's right. And the folks that I bring on, the folks that I talk to are real models, and they're people I want my kids listening to.
Speaking of kids.
Yes, sir.
You're like I said before, you know what I'm saying? The kids, you've been on TV their entire existence.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
At this point, is there anything that they're doing that you're like, okay, go that you're encouraging? Is that do anything want to do what you?
Yeah, you said baseball?
Yeah, I mean, look, I have, my oldest son, he plays lacrosse and he surfs and he plays guitar, but he's just funny as hell, man. I mean, this dude, he's like me. All my kids fight competitively. They do jujitsu, but he's kind of like me. He's got this huge heart and he's hard-headed, and he can be very mean sometimes. Sometimes when he's choking somebody out, he sometimes holds it a beat too long. But
was that how you were when you were younger?
A little bit. Yeah, I had a little bit of that.
Like little Tyson energy.
What is it like when you see that?
Bad intentions.
When you see that?
Sometimes I see it. Here's the thing with him. He'll only do it to a kid that he saw bullying a kid that was smaller than him. So in that, I'm like, all right, man, all right.
You gotta let that go.
Little times I'm like, oh, we gotta watch that. That's that. But he's also a kid that we can turn on a song and we'll just stare at each other's eyes. We'll both start crying. He feels, And then my next son, Bill, that kid is just a savage. He plays travel baseball with kids older than him. He plays travel basketball. He smashes people at jiu-jitsu. He's just, sports I think is really his way. My wife is an Angle in the Kurt Angle's family. He's really like built into that family.
Yo, hold on.
Yeah, he's all Angle. He's got that big strong ass. You know what I mean? Yeah. Really quick hips. He's a savage. And
then, you got the ankle lock on deck?
Dude, that kid is no joke. And then my daughter, she's the best of them all. I tell my kids all the time, I love my daughter the best. She's just perfect.
I say the same shit,
dude. Look, man, I only got one. I got two boys and a girl, but she's just she's just incredible. And she's like, she rides horses. She works at. She's only 6 years old. She's just like she
riding horses at 6.
She rides horses at 6. She does jujitsu.
Regular size horses or little?
Regular ass, and they love her. They have her at the farm, and she'll be like, talking to these. She'll be like horse will pull on it, she'll pull back, but she's like talking to her.
She controls the horse.
Controls the horse. Like, I don't fuck with horses. You know what I mean? I fuck with dogs. I don't fuck, but like this girl.
A horse is like wild expensive to have a horse?
Well, where she works on a farm. She doesn't have a horse.
How's that? Is there like an Uber for horses? Like, I don't know.
No, you can see where we live. It's like Western. There's like the expensive horses. Again, I'm kind of talking out my not the way you talked out your ass, but I'm talking out my ass. Like for me, there's like English where you like do the jumping, you wear the hat, you like whip it with the
right.
Yeah, or there's like cowgirl shit, like rodeo, and that's what my daughter does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shit.
Salute.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that part of like are they close in age?
They're super close in age. Yeah, me and my wife got you know,
Bang, bang,
got
bang, bang,
it all in. I mean,
Got them
I
all
was
out?
working all the time, so it was really conjugals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I'm coming home from the set.
You man
it's
said
like,
conjugals.
Hey, let's have a visit. You know what I mean? Like,
Hey, yo.
let's get a kid.
Hey.
I mean, sometimes I'll be like, baby, and like Lil Bill, you know, the athlete, he looks a little different too, which is a little bit mysterious, but like,
You know what?
You know what I mean?
Listen.
I'm just playing, baby. I'm dead. I just fucked it up.
You just fucked it up. I'm trying to save your marriage.
No way.
Listen.
No, baby, you know I'm playing. And
Listen.
I'm the heavyweight champ of them all. I mean, not the champion of all is my wife. She's like, man.
Shout out to his wife.
Dude.
Shout out to his wife.
You know what I'm saying?
And
Listen.
anything good that's in them came from her. That's the best sides of each of my kids is when I see my wife in them. There's no
Look at
question.
you trying to save face.
Dude, I ain't saying she knows it's the truth. There ain't
It's
no
the truth,
denying
though.
that. Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
truth. Listen,
Heard you.
we could talk to you.
Oh, my bad, dog. My bad.
Gotta do that whole fart again. Listen, everyone that comes to this show is an illustrious guest, and every illustrious guest gets a neon sign. John, what would you like your neon sign to say?
I would like my neon sign to say the real ones.
Boom. I got John in the
Jon
building.
Bernthal, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Real Ones Podcast. You got all types of stuff. Check it out.
Appreciate y'all.
My
Thank
guy.
you very much for having me, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was fun, dog.
Sorry for the fart.
Oh no, you good. It didn't smell bad.
It's
You know what I'm
lovely.
saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's comfort.
Yo, welcome to the official DESUS MERO YouTube channel. Like, comment, and subscribe to see some dope content that you can only get here.
Sit back, you know what I'm saying? Watch a video or 2 or 3 or 5, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to do. You can take your pants on or off.